2025. You know, we are always very excited to have this day. It's a nice time to kind of recognize all that everybody does here for the environment and for supporting the planting of trees, taking care of our parks, taking care of our streetscapes, and just living in this beautiful community. So Arbor Day has a lot of history, dates back to 1872, I believe. J. Sterling Morton started it in Nebraska, and that's the history of Arbor Day. And they started planting, millions of trees in Nebraska, and that ultimately became the celebration of a national Arbor Day throughout the country. And this has always been a very big thing for Rye Brook as well. As you see in our logo, you see the tree in the center of it. We take a lot of pride in the community, keeping our greenscape and doing a great job with that. We've also been a Tree City USA for the last 29 years. That's a heck of an achievement. It's longer than most of the communities that are out there throughout the state, and there's a lot. This is something that's a national recognition. In order to be, what does that mean? What do you do to be a Tree City USA? You have to have a budget that supports, maintains your trees, plants new trees, and certainly everybody does a great job in this community of doing that. And kudos really to our Public Works and Parks Department for doing such a great work. So round of applause for them. They're the ones that really do all the hard work. We also have to have a village code, a tree code, in order to be a Tree City USA. We have to have a group that maintains and overlooks at the trees. We have our sustainability committee and our village board that supports the replanting and the funding of trees. And we also have to have this ceremony in order to maintain our status. So this is a part of the requirements that we have to maintain our Tree City status. We've developed some really nice relationships in the community about sustainability. We have a very active committee. Greg Rivera is our staff liaison to the Sustainability Committee, and they do so many events. They have events coming up. They have a seed exchange event. We do plantings working with our Parks and Highway. We have one coming up at AJP in, I think, 2 weeks. And we do plantings throughout the village. We're working with the Scout this year to regenerate the circle in front of Village Hall. So working with our Public Works and our Parks Department to do that and rejuvenate and bring that back and bring the butterfly garden back in front of Village Hall. And there was a nice donation from the Teamsters on that. So again, they're supporting the village, and we're going to use that money working with the Scouts to really make it look even better. So it's a nice thing all around. Last year we were able to have a very nice ceremony at multiple locations to recognize Ashley Weldy, who was a school district, worked at the school district, but also was part of and former chair of our sustainability committee. So there's so many nice connections that we have to maintain our greenscape. Today you can see we have this beautiful flowering dogwood that you're going to learn about later. We also have some red maple seedlings, saplings, some bare root trees that people can take home with them. So without further delay, I'm really happy to have our newest trustee, Donald Crum, who wanted to say a few words for Arbor Day.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Donald Crum, the newest trustee of the Village of Rye Brook, and this morning I want to talk about things both old and new. First, as Chris mentioned, the Arbor Day tradition is very old. As many of you know that have been coming to these ceremonies in past years, it dates back to 1872 in Nebraska. We often talk about Rye Brook being the youngest village in Westchester County, yet planting a tree on Arbor Day is one of our oldest traditions. In fact, we've been doing this for at least the past 29 years, as the sign says over there. But this morning is extra special because we're planting this beautiful flowering dogwood on Beechwood Circle. And this circle and all of its connecting streets were laid out in their current location more than 100 years ago. I have a copy of a section of the 1911 Atlas with me that shows all the streets and the circle just as we see them today. So in a minute, as we plant this tree, let's reflect on the legacy we are leaving in this spot for those that come back here on any day in the future, or perhaps on an Arbor Day 29 years from now, or maybe 100 years from now, to enjoy the shade and beauty it will provide. For as long as we care for this tree, just as our village staff have cared for the trees in our parks, or as we have all cared for trees in our individual yards, this tree can be a source of inspiration to us all. And now I would like to read part of this 2025 Arbor Day proclamation. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, now therefore be it resolved that Jason A. Klein, Mayor of the Village of Rybrook, New York, hereby proclaims Friday, April 25th, 2025 is Arbor Day in the Village of Rybrook, and urges all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and Rybrook's continued status as Tree City, USA by planting trees and supporting efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further be it resolved that this Arbor Day in 2025, the Village of Rybrook is proud to plant one flowering dogwood in a prominent location for all to see in Beechwood Circle, to be enjoyed by the Rybrook community. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Crum, and we're so happy to have him joining us on the village board. But we're also so thankful for the legacy of our former board members. And Stephanie Fisher is here today, and she's left the board, and she did such a great job. So thank you, Stephanie. And thank you again for continued support. You're always such a great presence at our community events. We're also very lucky to have a certified arborist on staff. We have a very robust tree program, tree requirements for replanting, maintaining our streetscape, maintaining our trees, giving advice to residents. You know, we do a lot of public outreach in those areas. So now I'm going to invite Michael Nowak up and talk about our flowering dogwood.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Since we're on the theme of history, I'm going to throw out some dates and small pointers. 1970, 1990, New Jersey, Professor Orton, Cornus cusa and Cornus floridia. Cornus cusa, Asian dogwood, Cornus floridia, American dogwood. So why do I bring this up? This tree right here that we're talking about is called a Rutgan stellar pink dogwood. The significance of that is that it's a hybrid between an Asian dogwood and an American dogwood, because in the 1970s, dogwoods were under attack in America with anthracnose, which is a fungal disease affecting them, and dogwood borer. So Professor Orton at Rutgers University really wasn't happy with that, and he took fight to those two diseases and impacts and environmental impacts, and he hybridized the dogwoods, and he came up with the Rutgan stellar pink along with about a dozen other trees that was introduced in early 1990s. So this particular species has only been around for 35 years, okay? And the key to it is that it has a non-typical pink flower. It has a much larger leaf than other dogwoods, and it's a prolific flowering tree. So when it blooms, it's going to really bloom heavy. A typical dogwood has a small white, green, cream flower. This tree, on the other hand, is going to have a large 4-leaf pink flower. So Mr. Orton, or Professor Orton, was able to offer his impacts. His legacy stands in the dozen trees that he and his team at Rutgers had done. And I applaud Highway Department for picking a great tree, because Highway Department went out there and they picked the dogwood. So it'll be a welcome addition here to the circle and to the residents in the village. So thank you.
And it really is, stay there for a second, it really is a stunning tree. The amount of branches on it and everything, the spread, it's really a beautiful tree. So they certainly picked a great one. We're going to do a ceremonial planting of the tree in a second, but before we do that, we all just want to mention we do have red maple seedlings, which are bare root trees, so you won't see dirt at the bottom, but they are alive and they are living. It's the type of tree in our streetscape and in our parks we're using bare root trees now for many years, and we've had great success with them. They're beautiful trees. They grow quickly. You know, they're very easy. We can able to plant more of them because we can stretch it out further. So the bare root trees are a great option. Michael, could you just mention quick? Everyone, please take one home. Plant them. Remember, Arbor Day is about reforesting our communities, planting trees, so please bring it home. Michael, could you say how people should handle those when they
Sure.
bring them home?
So here we have the bag of saplings, so take as many as you want. As you see, the roots are exposed. Okay, they're fibrous. Okay, we do have them in the bag, they're wet. So what you want to do is you want to at least to take them back either into your office or to your home and either put them in a wet napkin or a towel, or if you have some topsoil or dirt, plant them. If you could plant them, that'd be the best option. Okay, you don't want to plant them too deep. Okay, you will see where the roots end. You just want to go as deep as the roots are. So basically just deep a long slender hole, install it, put the dirt back, water it, and let it grow. So,
And how big will they get eventually?
a red maple will get anywhere from 24 inches to 36 inches wide. They'll get anywhere from 40 to 80 feet tall. So, and they'll get about 40 to 60 feet wide. So do plant them in a spot that will grow. They look tiny, but
All by next year.
But as you see behind us, a whole bunch of maples in back of us. They're big. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Please get a few people up to have a planting. Donna? Brett, you want to come up? Stephanie, you want to come up? You're there. Why do you plant? You can bring your dog right with you. Sure. Come on up, guys. Huh?
Hang on a second. Let me just make sure that we get this out of it.
And coming in now is Robin Willig, from our sustainability committee. So Robin, perfect timing to come help us plant the tree. Perfect timing. How about one volunteer from over there?
Right here.
All right, good. Who's that, Ralph? Ralph, you nominated.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, everybody come over here, grab some dirt. Come on, Ralph.
Coming.
And we're gonna all circle around the tree for a picture. Come around the tree first, so we all get a good photo op.
This is very funny.
All right, tell us when you guys have it. All set? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Happy Arbor Day.
Happy Arbor Day, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for coming.